Today, we're going to be going over the #1 new supplement, and I use new in air quotes here, for hormones, blood sugar, and longevity. It's actually a pretty old nutritional supplement. However, it's being what we like to say repurposed in the either pharmaceutical or natural health industry in order to improve a myriad of different benefits for the body. Well, I want to give you the top 10 reasons that people are now recommending this product more than ever before. And whether I think it's proper for you, I'll share that at the end. And if so, at what dosage will you actually get the clinical benefit? Welcome back. Glad to have you here today on the Cabral Concept. This is episode 2890. I'll be sharing a lot of research links with you here today. So if you want the 3 big takeaways and you'd like to see all the research links as well as other important information, head on over to stevencabral.com/2890 for all the details. Today, we're going to be going over the #1 new supplement, and I use new in air quotes here, for hormones, blood sugar, and longevity. And I would say this is actually a pretty old nutritional supplement. It's been around a really long time. It's been used, no, I wouldn't just say for centuries, but it's been part of the Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine herbal apothecary for many thousands of years. However, it's being what we like to say repurposed in the either pharmaceutical or natural health industry in order to improve a myriad of different benefits for the body. Now, when I mention this, I think you'll know what it is. I think that you may have heard about it before, but it's going to start to be in the news even more than it was previous. And it's going to become one of those nutritional supplements like a vitamin D or a magnesium. And I'm sure you heard about vitamin D or magnesium by now. A lot of people refer to them as essentially panaceas, because when you use and take magnesium and or vitamin D, it's used by hundreds of processes in the body. So both of them help with blood sugar. Both of them help with cardiovascular. Both of them help with immunity. Like it helps, both of them help with sleep. It helps all across the board. They help with the hormones. They help with neurotransmitters. So it's one of those, most individuals need a calcium magnesium supplement or a magnesium supplement based on their minerals and metals test. And almost everyone needs vitamin D unless you're maintaining a tan year-round. So that's up to the individual. You can get them however you want to get to them. And again, you can definitely get magnesium from higher magnesium foods. It's just most people are still depleted. That's what we see on lab tests. So if we're being unbiased, that's typically what we see on labs. And almost nobody is actually up to an optimal level of vitamin D, which is between a 50 and 70 or 50 and 80. So like I said, this product, this herb that I'm about to share with you in just one moment, has been used for thousands of years with Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. It is now being, there's been what's called like a resurgence of this herb because of how much clinical research there is now behind it, and that is none other than berberine. So it's berberis is the herb, berberis species, and the extract that's typically used is just what we call berberine. So why am I talking about berberine here today? Well, I want to give you the top 10 reasons that people are now recommending this product more than ever before. And whether I think it's proper for you, I'll share that at the end. And if so, at what dosage will you actually get the clinical benefit? All right, so the first one is this. Probably one of the top 2 to 3 reasons is for blood sugar regulation. Now, again, before I start the show, I have to give you my disclaimer. I can't provide you with any medical advice, medical cures, medical treatment plans, or medical diagnosis of any type. However, berberine is shown in clinical research, and you can always just use Dr. Google yourself. You can literally type in berberine and blood sugar benefits, right? Berberine and name the benefit and just see if there's any benefits, right? Like you can look at it that way. So blood sugar regulation is a big one because it's one of the most well documented right now. So what they found is that, and I'll give you the different dosages, using berberine specifically with whole food meals will enable you to better regulate blood sugar and control what's called insulin sensitivity. So it's the amount of insulin that your pancreas needs to release or produce in order for you to shuttle the blood sugar, the glucose, out of your blood and into the different cells of the body. Berberine helps with that, and it does a tremendous job at doing that as well. Now, does that mean you don't need to use a banaba leaf or a Gymnema sylvestre or a cinnamon or vanadium sulfate? No, all of those can work as well. So I'm not saying this supersedes the others, but what I am saying is berberine can help. All right, the second one is balancing and healthy levels of cholesterol. So LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, and even looking at blood triglycerides. Berberine can be tremendous at helping with that to reduce oxidative or oxidized cholesterol, so-called bad LDL cholesterol. Great product to use for that. Overall heart health benefits. So let's say you're dealing with blood pressure issues or cardiovascular issues or have a family history of cardiovascular issues. Berberine can be tremendous for that as well. The fourth one is antioxidant and anti-inflammatory based benefits. And again, we always say we're helping to balance or maintain healthy levels of inflammation. But what berberine is able to do is actually, not all the mechanisms are known. So I'm going to talk about the mitochondria in a bit, but we know that the berberine, beyond helping the mitochondria, is able to squelch free radicals in the body. That means it's able to help with oxidative damage and free radicals. That means it can help lower the inflammatory load on the body coming from that oxidative damage. That's pretty impressive. And when I start to talk about the longevity ones, that'll be part of it too. I talk about this in high performance health quite a bit, but this is one to take note of. All right, if we're already talking about oxidative stress, inflammation, and blood sugar, you might be thinking, does this also help with weight loss as well? And the answer is yes. In some great placebo, double-blind based studies, berberine helps to reduce body weight, reduce fatty buildup in the liver, so we can even say fatty liver, right? And that's not particularly weight loss, but we can even add another benefit as to fatty liver, and improve overall fat burning in the body. So lipolysis, breaking down body fat to use for fuel, not just from sugar. Berberine has antibacterial health purposes. We've been using it as part of our CBO protocol for quite some time. So it has some anti-pathogenic based properties. It can help with bacteria in the gut that shouldn't be there, potentially with microbes that shouldn't be there, maybe like parasites, as well as some fungal based issues too. Right now, we know that it can, and as we're looking at research, that means it could help with viral load and viruses. I want to be careful there, but great research showing, at least preliminarily, with the immune system and viruses. Okay, the next one is for brain health. So a lot of what we talk about in high performance health is also protecting the brain, staving off Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia. And I know Parkinson's is more maybe body related, but it absolutely relates to the brain as well. How dopamine is used and the overall nervous system. And obviously those neural synapses in the brain, that's what we need for Alzheimer's, dementia, etc. So being that it helps with inflammation, free radicals, and glucose or blood sugar regulation, it can help tremendously for the brain and neurodegenerative conditions as well. The next one is gut health. I talked a little bit about this under the antibacterial, but we do use this as part of an overall healthy gut-based protocol to keep that gut from overgrowing with a lot of microbes. It's not the only thing that I would use if someone had bacterial overgrowth or fungi-based overgrowth like Candida, but certainly it's a great add-on. All right, number 9, and I want to be, again, careful here, but a growing body of research for potential anti-cancer effects. So preliminary studies are showing that supplementing with berberine may have anti-cancer properties and helping with basically killing the cancer cells as they start to grow, shutting down their energy systems, promoting apoptosis, which is programmed cell death, and inhibiting cancer cell migration, allowing it not to move all around the body. Pretty impressive. The last one, number 10, is this: the potential longevity and anti-aging benefits. So berberine, and I mentioned this just last week. This was on, let's see, how to get rid of loose skin naturally, episode 2882, that when we use berberine, which was one of the supplements to induce autophagy, you actually got some of that catabolic effect, which means berberine could help with recycling or upcycling of old cells, breaking down of cells that are no longer needed, potentially cancer cells, potentially viruses, again, that shouldn't be in the body, but also inducing more autophagy like I spoke about, so the cellular cleanup, but also AMPK. And AMPK is the signal that the body now is fighting against catabolism, potentially being a great longevity and anti-aging balancer within the body. Now, all of this also works in conjunction, which I said I would talk about, with the mitochondria. So the mitochondria, just a quick refresher, they are the energy powerhouses of the cell. An average cell, let's just say, might have 1,000. The heart might have 5,000 per cell. We're talking about these are the energy producers. So as you get older, if you get tired doing the same things you always did, a lot of times it's because your mitochondria aren't functioning as well. If you get tired walking up a couple of flights of stairs when you never used to, it can be a sign that the mitochondria aren't as strong, or you have more inflammation in your body than you really should have. Now, the mitochondria, it's interesting, are affected by inflammation, but also mitochondria help to squelch inflammation. So when we look at this, it's a double-edged sword. And again, I teach this inside of HPH in depth in a full module. But what happens is that if your mitochondria are functioning well, helps maintain healthier levels of inflammation. But if inflammation overwhelms the body, like what a lot of people get during post-COVID or post-viral inflammatory syndrome, then their mitochondria begin to become depleted. So they need to then build up the mitochondria while at the same time squelching the inflammation, boosting their immune system. So again, all these things are always fixable. You just need to know the underlying root cause. And berberine can be such a great benefactor for all the other healthy things you're doing with your life. So does it mean that you should drop everything and only use berberine? No, but that's kind of like our Western-based mindset. I totally get it. I understand that. Berberine is a great add-on to essentially anything you're doing right now. Does it mean that everybody needs to take berberine? No. If you have no cardiovascular issues, you're still young, you don't need to lose weight, your blood sugar is good, blood pressure is good, not worried about brain health right now, then you don't need to add berberine necessarily to your repertoire, because there's so many other great products you can use as well. However, if you do decide to use berberine, you can take anywhere from 500 milligrams to 1,500 milligrams per day. And it's really as easy as taking 500 milligrams at each meal. So 1, 2, or 3 meals. So how I just started using it in my own routine is that I take berberine at lunch and I take it at dinner. I don't take it at breakfast. Now, you can take it at breakfast. There's no reason not to. But for me, I run a little lower blood sugar. And so for me, breakfast is a time to bring my blood sugar back to normal, baseline. And then with lunch, it's a larger whole food meal. And then same with dinner. And so I just use it at those meals. You could easily do it 1 for breakfast, 1 for lunch, 1 for dinner, especially if you had any of the cardiovascular or you had some of the blood sugar-based issues, or you can just do 1 in the morning and 1 at night. So whatever works for you. But 500 milligrams 1 to 3 times per day is definitely the recommended dosage based on all the clinical research that I've seen. 1,500 seems to be the upper limit of really where you're going to get benefit, and 500 milligrams is essentially the lower benefit. Most companies you'll see 500 milligrams per capsule. That's where you want to start. You can see the one that we use at our practice at stevencabral.com/shop. That'll just take you over to Equalife. You can just search berberine. It's just berberine, berberine. But again, feel free to use any functional medicine company that you feel is the right fit for you. I just know the ones that we use, that we third-party test, that we get results in our practice. Hopefully this was helpful. Feel free to leave any comments below of other additional benefits that you've seen berberine bring for you or in your practice. We would love to hear from you. And of course, if you have any ideas for future shows, leave them as well in the comments. Thanks so much, everyone. Have an amazing rest of the day. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral concept. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.